Hi everyone, this is Balazs from RacingBrick. You could already see the reveal of this set on the channel last year. I really couldn't wait for it to arrive, but now it's here and I can build it. The 10327 Dune Atreides Royal Ornithopter. At least that seems to be the final name. The box is surprisingly small. It's actually the same size as the box of the telephone box, but slightly thicker. The design is pretty cool, but we could already see that. There are more details on the back. Now let's open it. The set has 1369 pieces, it is rated 18 plus like all Icons says these days, it costs 165 euros or dollars, and it is available for pre-order in some countries with an expected shipping date of February 1st. We have quite a lot of things in the box. There are 10 numbered bags, a mysterious long box, the manual, a separate unnumbered bag, a loose link piece and a paper envelope. Well, okay, the box is not so mysterious. It contains the brand new blade pieces for the wings, of which we get 8. With a length of almost 32 centimeters or 12.5 inches, this part is huge. You can see above the blade of the Airbus helicopter to compare. The surface finish of the blade is kind of special, it looks a bit matte. It's a molded silver piece that feels quite light and reminds me of the old silver Bionicle pieces. The white cover of the instructions matches the build this time. I like the artwork. We get a brief introduction to the Dune universe, focusing on the ornithopter itself, its details and functionality. The next 2 pages show all the figures, which are clearly based on the movie. Here's another image from the movie and a few words from design master Mike Psyche, who introduced us to the set last year at LEGO Fan Media Days. At the end, we get a detailed guide to the features and how to use them, which is great. Then comes the parts list and we can finally start building. The build begins with a studied Technic core and we add parts to that, like these new slopes that were introduced last year and are new in this color. According to the manual, this part forms the lever that makes the wings flap. A bit of plate and tile stacking here, this is one of the side panels. Here's the other one, this is the tail section of the vehicle, which is essentially the handle. It needs to be super sturdy and so far it is. We have one more assembly to add, end of bag 1. There's already some tricky connections in the next stage, and it's not going to stop there. It's an interesting mix of system, studied and studless technical elements. And we keep seeing this with structures that I don't fully understand yet, but everything should have a purpose. I think this set really deserves the 18 plus label, and it's not for beginners. This odd piece is already 3 years old, but it's only ever been used in Disney sets. Don't be disappointed if you cannot nail this for the first try. I didn't. Now it's time to attach the tail section, and this was a move that wasn't super clear for me for the first sight. If you don't look closely at the instructions, you might think it goes here, but then it doesn't really fit. This is how it should work instead. And now we can check how this marvelous linkage will work that operates the landing ramp and the landing gear. A few more parts and we are at the end of bag 2. As you can see, the ramp and landing gear can be controlled from both sides. I really wonder how this mechanism is supposed to work here. It's particularly tricky to fit this assembly, and once it's done, the range of movement is still pretty small. Technic builders will be pleased with this relatively new connector in black. According to the manual, this is the wing root that serves as the base for the flapping mechanism. We have 4 of these in total. After a few supporting components, we need to add these 4 axles with stop that hold the wing roots in place. Now the whole flapping mechanism makes much more sense, and once again it is ingenious. We can already guess how it will work, although the effect will be much more visible with the super long wings. And another strange connection here, a few more parts there, end of phase 3. This will be the part of the activation mechanism of the wings. The moving assemblies with the toe balls at the top and bottom sit on these smaller flexible toe balls, another type of connection I've never seen before. These need to be pushed backwards according to the manual, and then we connect the previous assembly to the shock absorber. The result is the folding mechanism, which doesn't work perfectly yet because there is some unwanted movement up and down, but we can already see the concept. A very cool synergy for the end of this phase between the two worlds, the beam with the half pins is connected to the studs next to it at the perfect height. By adding a few elements, the folding mechanism is now properly guided. This is a unique attachment method and orientation for these parts. We have just added the second batch of wing holders. Now it's time to use these links to connect the upper and lower wings. Apparently this bag holds more than one accessory, because the brown cape is needed in phase 6. Here is the trick how the front section with the cockpit windows is angled outwards. These assemblies make it possible. Now here's something interesting. I still needed one more L-shaped plate like this, but there wasn't any in the bags. I'm always the skeptic who says parts don't get lost easily, but I had this brown jumper plate instead, which isn't in the inventory of the set. It's still a mistake on LEGO's part. I wonder how such different pieces can get misplaced during the packaging process. Adding more details to the build, then comes this rather simple tail end section. Bag 7 expands the front with more specialized parts, and when I say specialized, I mean it. You can learn a whole bunch of fancy joining techniques in this section alone. Nice part usage for the controls. Honestly, I didn't expect the front section to be built in this order, as it seems very fragile at this point. Now we can cover the sides, and thanks to the snot techniques, it becomes super stable. Here are the seats. This assembly is designed so that it can be easily removed to place the minifigures. This light array is the last piece from Bag 7. We now build the landing gear. The mechanism uses a complex linkage, and now we can attach these very cool feet and see how the functionality will work. That's Bag 9, and we will continue working on the wings. We will have some repetitions here for sure. Another set of links is needed to improve the stability of the wings. We have done the same with the rear wings. Now we are covering some gaps. Time to open Bag 10. Maybe it's better to remove the seats while we work here. If you thought the big windshield panels were the new ones, you were wrong, just like me. This little window without the hinges is the new part. The large windshield pieces were only recolored. I like the brick build structure that was added up here, and that's how it will be installed. This is the only decorated element, by the way, apart from the gauges, and it is printed, of course. And here's the final moment of truth. All the wings are assembled, and we are done. So, here is our finished model. And with its wings extended, it has a quite large footprint. I think it looks great, very mechanical, very functional, just like in the movie. I haven't talked about the minifigures yet. We had one in almost every bag. The last figure is Baron Harkonnen himself. He has a stand and a special long rope piece that is a little difficult to put on. So, here are all the minifigures together. I think they look great, with very nice and detailed prints. Some of them even have 2 face prints. They also have the right accessories. None of them are new, but some could be recolored. My favorite is still the brick built maker hook. It looks great. And what about the functions? You could see Mike showing off the features at the reveal, and I can report that they still work well. The model is incredibly stiff and solid. I was afraid to hold it like this the first time, but it's like a torch or something like that. You need both hands to extend the wings. You can't do it with your thumb, at least I couldn't. The flapping function works one-handed, so it's totally swooshable, and you can also try a few tricks. It's surreal to play with a non-technic set like this. The landing gear also works smoothly. Interestingly, this was Mike's favorite feature. So yeah, I have to admit that I'm totally blown away by the build, the whole concept, the execution and everything else. But I know some people will think otherwise. And why? I will try to explain. I like Technic, I like functional builds, things that work. This set is not Technic on paper, but here you are building Technic functions with Technic parts like half the time. And these are not simple things like assembling most of these cars here. These are quite challenging structures that require your full attention. Of course, there's some repetition and also simple stacking of bricks for the cover panels, but that's only a very small part of the whole process. Usually you are building something interesting and tricky. This means that I'm afraid many people will not necessarily enjoy the building process. I did enjoy it. This is hands down my favorite non-Technic build of all time. Before that it was the Act 1, which was also full of functions and was also designed by Mike, so if you see a pattern, don't be surprised. Like he said, they started developing the wing features right after they saw the movie, and it took many attempts before they got something working. But when the project got a green light, they had to squeeze everything in this form factor defined by the maximum length of wings, which was almost like starting from scratch. To me, it is a marvel of LEGO engineering, but functions were clearly the top priority and not the look of the model. I still think most of it is pretty accurate. I really like the cockpit design, it is quite faithful to the movie, but I also expect a lot of disappointed reactions because of the lack of details in the interior and the exposed functional Technic elements. The ramp is there and it works, but it only helps with stability as there is nothing to see inside. And then there are the exposed red towels and axles. Honestly, I am as confused about this as you are, because the black toggle with pin pieces are in production, they are available, I have no idea why these were used. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to ask about it, but I will try it next time. I can only imagine the color coding has something to do with the building experience, but I agree the red ones still look out of place. The good news is, if you don't like them, the black versions are cheap and accessible. As I mentioned earlier, the whole build is very sturdy. There is only one piece that fell off for me, this 2x3 behind the flapping mechanism. When I push on the black beam, it somehow touches the plate and slowly but surely detaches it. Maybe I made a mistake, we will see what others' experiences are. The other thing is that there is no display stand. The model has its own landing gear, of course, and can be displayed this way, but I'm sure people will want to have some kind of flying pose like we have with the Concorde or the Space Shuttle here. As this is LEGO, you can expect fan creations to appear soon after release. The designers have focused on the play experience with this model, which, whether by accident or by purpose, has been built to minifig scale and is totally playable. This is unique for an 18+ set. This might be the rare occasion when the age rating is more indicative of the complexity rather than the target audience. The official retail price of the set is €165 or dollars, but pre-order prices in Europe are already at €125. I think for that price it is an excellent set, a unique and challenging building experience, and in the end an impressive display piece. I am very happy that this set exists and that it was made this way. For me, it is the pinnacle of functionality and form made of LEGO pieces, both system and technic. But what about you folks? What are your impressions? Are you a fan of the functions or would have preferred more emphasis on the design and displayability? Let's talk about it in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe with notifications because more exciting LEGO videos are coming soon. See you next time, bye bye.